based on the evidence. The state's just starting to lay it all out. But what we expect at this trial, I can't help but ask, number one, it is a bench trial, but number two, why not plea? Because I suspect there's going to be a guilty conviction based on the evidence we know is coming. And if that's the case, he's going to spend many years, the rest of his life, in jail.
You know, it's funny, I often see pleas in death penalty cases because you want the judge to sentence instead of a jury to sentence. But I don't know what you gain. And again, Georgia law may be different, but I don't know what you gain by taking it to trial and putting the judge through all that, particularly if that's going to be the one that's sentencing you. I'm sure there's strategy decisions with the defense counsel. Maybe they think there's some appellate issues that are going to be tricky with the evidence that may give him some more options. But other than that, I'm with you, Judge.
Yeah, and Tommy, like, you know, diving deeper into that, you know, since we are at trial, no plea, maybe the defense wants to put on a case. So what would that even look like, in your opinion?
You know, well, if they do it, you know, one thing I was thinking as I was listening to that cross, I hadn't seen the attorney yet, but, you know, for South Carolina, for maybe Georgia, you know, the southern states, his approach is not adversarial. He's making various good points that might be used. You know, again, is he going to carry the day to a not guilty verdict? I don't necessarily believe so, but I think, you know, he's almost mitigating some because, you know, again, you got the judge listening instead of a jury, but I think he is, you know, maybe soften it up. So if he does have to argue at the end to the judge, you know, he's at least pointed it out rather than sitting on his hands, you know, just waiting to argue against the wall, talking to the judge.
So let me ask you this. How different is your strategy or your demeanor when you were trying cases, if you were trying one in front of a jury versus just a judge?
You know, it's hard for me because, you know, I remember when I was in law school and I saw the first video of me doing a closing argument and I was awful. I never knew how country I sounded, you know, I started hanging out with you guys. But I was devastated, and the professor said, well, what do you hope to be? And I said, well, I hope to be a prosecutor. He said, where? I said, in South Carolina. He said, well, who would you be speaking to? I said, jurors. He said, how would they talk? I said, like me. He said, what are you worried about? And so I've talked about that dog won't hunt, your mom and them, and, you know, whatever else all these years. I did not really enjoy ever having to argue with the judge because you got that balance, who thinks they're smarter than the other, and both of us went to law school and stuff. No disrespect, Judge, but citizens I seem to relate better to, so I've always, you know, wanted a jury and trusted a jury.
And you make such a good point. When we watch these trials all over the nation, all I can think is, you know what? Some of the demeanors that we might note of the attorneys, they know their people. They know their jury. They know who they're speaking to. So often that's part of it, is speaking to them in a way that they're going to receive what they're saying.
Yeah, and if they sound folksy, you know, to Tommy's point, those jurors sound that same way too when we speak with them. And, you know, it's a jury of your peers. So,
yeah.
Yeah, we've had that happen with clients come from out of state, man, for example, and, you know, have a New York accent, and they said the jury's going to love me, and I'm trying to think of a nice way to go. That may not be the case with, you know, the folks I grew up with.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your folksiness and your intelligence. You're sticking around all hour long. We appreciate you.
Sure.
All right, but we do need to take that break now. When we come back, more testimony in the stranger home invasion murder case.
And the jury comes back with a verdict in the father figure murder trial of Darren Threlkill. Keep it here on your front row seat to justice. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Ashley Wilcott.
And I'm Matt Johnson, in today for Michael Ayala. Thanks for being with us today. We are in the state of Georgia, where it's day one of testimony in the stranger home invasion murder trial for Matthew Lanz. It's a bench trial, meaning he's opted for a judge to decide his fate on numerous charges, and they include this: malice and felony murders, aggravated assault, and attempted murder.
Prosecutors claim that Lanz shot and killed Justin and Amber Hicks. This was a young couple who had recently moved into a house near his parents' home. Their 2-year-old child was found unharmed in that house, but covered in blood. The investigators say that Lanz then went on a crime spree, breaking into several homes and then attacking and stabbing an officer who had responded to one of the 911 calls.
Now, in court today, Hicks family members became very emotional while watching the police body cam video of officers finding the bodies. Let's get you back into court now. On the stand is a Cobb County police detective. He's not allowed to be shown on camera.
He is testifying about his investigation and executing a search warrant for the defendant's home.
Now, Detective, some of that was a little bit hard to hear, but can you help in terms of the timeline as laid out by Scott Lanz? In terms of, I guess, when was it that they went to Athens?
It was the night prior to us executing the search warrant.
Okay, so that would have been November 18th.
18th, correct.
Was that the same day that Amber and Justin had been located?
Yes.
And who was it that they were going to see in Athens?
Just on that.
Now, there was mention in there about something about they taking 2 guns they had, and he then clarified his sons. How many sons does Scott and Teresa Lanz have?
2, to my knowledge.
And what is the other son's name? If you recall.
Austin?
Okay. And was he still living at the time of this in November of 2021?
No, he was not.
Were Scott and Teresa forthcoming with you regarding the gun that they recovered from their son Matthew Lanz?
Yes, so when they came out of the residence, I explained to them that the neighbors had been murdered. They advised that they knew. And then I also advised that Matthew had been involved in something in Sandy Springs. I did not go into detail. I told them that other detectives wanted to interview them back at headquarters. It was cold out, and Teresa began to, sorry, this mic keeps going in and out. Teresa began to cry, and so we asked if she would be more comfortable sitting in a patrol car or a detective's car. So she was in the car while I was speaking with Scott. When I did ask Scott questions, he was very forthcoming with the answers.
Okay, and so where was it specifically that he pointed you to regarding the gun he received from Matthew Lanz?
So he gave me 2 locations. There was the gun safe in the master bedroom closet, and then the one that they took from Matthew from his apartment in Athens was at the top of the stairs. There's a closet on the right. When you go in the closet, there is a bag of clothes on the left, men's clothes, and there's a blue sports coat hanging in the midst of all the other clothes. The gun is in just the sport coat pocket.
And did you actually find it in that location?
Yes, I did.
All right, were photos also taken throughout the search warrant execution?
They were.
Okay, I'm going to show you what you and I have previously gone through, but you can flip through them again. States Exhibit 321 through 459, as well as 484 through 527. I know you've previously gone through them, so do you recognize those stacks of photos?
I do.
Okay, and were those photos taken on the evening of November 19th, 2021 during the search warrant execution at 600 Delphinium?
Yes, they are.
Are those fair and accurate photographs of that search warrant execution?
They are.
State those to tender states 321 through 459 and 484 through 527.
Any objection?
Any objection?
So, Your Honor, I've had an opportunity to view all of those, so we have no objection.
Thank you. States Exhibits 321 to 459 and 484 to 527 are omitted.
Thank you, May I publish? Yes. We won't go through every single one of these, but looking at states 322, there's a bad glare there. Maybe hand this one to you for just a minute. 322. What are the cross streets that are being documented in states 322?
It's cross street of Urbana Drive and Delphinium Boulevard.
State's Exhibit 324 here, which residence is being documented?
That is 600 Delphinium.
And so the street in front of the house is which street?
The street that the front door of the house is on is Delphinium, and then the street where the garage is Virginia Drive.
State's Exhibit, and if that microphone is giving too much feedback and you just want to talk very loudly, I don't think that'll be a problem as long as you speak up.
Okay.
All right, State's 325.
That is the front side of 600 Delphinium.
State's 326.
That's the mailbox.
State's 327 here. So what street does this driveway empty into?
That would be Virginia.
State's 328.
This is inside the residence of 600 Delphinium.
State's 331. What are we looking at here?
That's also inside the residence. It looks like a family room.
State's 334.
This is like the main area of the first floor.
Such a tragic case playing out there in Cherokee County,
Yes, beginning
Georgia.
to end.
All right, we're going to do this. We're going to hit the pause button right now, but first, an update out of Colorado before we head to break. A jury has reached a guilty verdict in the father-figure murder trial of Darren Threlkill.
Jury verdict count number 1, murder in the first-degree child under 12 position of trust. We, the jury, find the defendant Darren Threlkill guilty of murder in the first-degree child under 12 position of trust, and that is signed by our foreperson.
This conviction came after more than 5 hours of jury deliberations. Threlkill was arrested in 2023 for the July 2016 death of his girlfriend's 6-year-old son, Martin Ozinski. He was charged with first-degree and second-degree murder.
Now, during the trial, prosecutors proved that he strangled the boy to death after he had another bathroom accident. His defense claimed that that boy died from a combination of pneumonia and asthma symptoms. His sentencing is scheduled for tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, and he faces life behind bars. Of course, we'll bring it to you.
Another sad case. Right now, though, we need to take a break. We're going to have more testimony in the stranger home invasion murder trial when we return on Court TV Live.
You have to punish him, you have to kill him for a few $100?
You don't touch fire and expect not to get burned. My goal is to embarrass you. My goal is to make you suffer. My goal is for pain. Make sure that you remember me for the rest of your life.
You weren't feeling any sympathy.
If I'm being honest now.
You kill a man for acting like a junkie when you're the one turned him into a junkie.
Interview with a Killer season finale, Saturday night at 8 Eastern and Pacific, only on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Matt Johnson, Judge Ashley Wilcott here with you. Before we send you back to court and watch this latest live trial, let's bring back former prosecutor Tommy Pope, our guest for this hour. All right, so again, it's a bench trial, which is the reason why he's not in street clothes, this defendant. But still, the judge might be taking into account how he is acting at that defense table, not making any sort of eye contact, just looking down. What were your thoughts on his behavior in court so far?
It's ironic that's what you came back and asked, because when we were watching during the break, that's exactly what I was thinking. I need to keep remembering there's a judge, but remember a judge is human too. So you can't get up at the end. You know, we always say once you walk in the courtroom, jury's watching you at all times. Well, the judge is human. He's no different. And I think he's, you know, especially at the end, if like he gets up and wants to make some remorseful statement or, you know, apologize or whatever that is not heartfelt, the judge is going to know because he saw him 5 minutes before just totally disconnected. But he seems to have, I don't know, going back to what you asked me before, why he didn't plead. Because, I mean, that his body language, the way he's in there, it feels like he's just going through the motions. I'm not really sure what he sees to gain. He looks like he's defeated already. I'm not sure why he didn't plead.
Well, I'm wondering, could it have anything to do with the fact that we know that he was found not competent to stand trial? Now, obviously, he's competent to stand trial, but it caused some delays. And yes, it's not the same thing to be found not competent versus an insanity defense, but could that competency issue maybe play into why this individual, it's his decision to plea or not, and he hasn't decided to do that up until this point. Could that be a factor in it, Tommy?
Yes, ma'am. I certainly think it could. He, competency to stand trial, as you said, for your viewers is different than McNaughton insanity, whether you know legal and moral right from legal and moral wrong. So, they're not dealing with that. But the truth is, when they restore him to competency, sometimes it's by accommodation and medication. So now that you've told me that, looking at him, I mean, that may explain that, he may be over-medicated from the look of him, because he's almost just got that disassociated effect. And so I think that could certainly play into it. But once you have competency, and this is between he and his attorney, that would certainly be the time to talk about the pros and cons of prolonging this thing with the judge.
Yeah. And that's a good point about the medications, Matt. Obviously, we've seen lots of cases where the effect is so clearly affected by the medications they're on.
And, the judge will decide whether or not he is found guilty, but I'm also thinking, the prosecutors made the statement that he went on that crime spree that day, so maybe, if he is guilty of this, maybe he wants to have people suffer more by going through the trial, the family members.
I mean, you never know, right? What is in the thinking when someone decides to go to trial on the charges? All right, stand by, Tommy, if you would, please tell her we want to head back to court for more testimony. Now, this is from a Cobb County detective who conducted a search warrant on the defendant's home. And a reminder, this is the witness who is not allowed to be shown on camera.
Stuff. Other items just kind of scattered everywhere.
Stage 335.
This is the kitchen.
Stage 337.
It appears to be the dining room or some kind of breakfast nook.
Stage 338.
That's a couple of refrigerators and some appliances. I don't remember if those were actually in the kitchen or not, or if they're removed because of the renovation.
Stage 339.
It's just a hallway going further into the residence.
Stage 340.
I believe that's going back towards the garage.
Let's see, let me go back really quickly. So stage 339 here. Do y'all go down this hallway?
Yes.
Okay. Unless.
There's a bathroom there.
Yeah, so stage 334, is that the bathroom you can start to see?
Yes.
All right. And then stage 342, are you continuing down that hallway?
Yes, going up upstairs.
Jump ahead here. And throughout the search of this house, did you find any documentation with Matthew Lanz's name on it?
Yes.
Okay. So was it clear that this was in fact his family's residence that he spent time at?
It was, yes.
Going. Stage 407 here, is this the same kind of small flight of stairs we see previously?
Yeah, this is above that first landing.
And then states 409 here. What are we looking at in states 409?
So this is inside the closet that Scott Lanz had directed us to, where the gun was located. So if you go out that door, immediately to the left, the stairwell, yes, the stairwell is back, kind of coming along that wall, going down.
States 411 here.
That is the sport coat that Scott referenced.
States 412, what do you start to see there?
That's the mag well to a semi-automatic pistol.
States 413, is that the same mag well?
Yes.
All right, states 414.
There's the grip to a firearm and some paper.
Could you tell once you looked further what that paper was? Let's see, let's look at states 416.
Yeah, it's the like the ceremonial brochure for the Kennesaw Mountain graduating class. I can't see it here, but 2018.
States 418, did you all remove that firearm from the jacket pocket?
Yes, I did.
All right, that was documented in states 418.
Yes, that's my hand with the firearm, and it's in a holster.
States 420, did you take it out of the holster?
I did.
States 422, what type of firearm was that?
It's a ZEV Technologies OZ9.
Okay. States 423, can you see it better there as well?
Yeah, this is the other side of it.
States 425, do you all also have a zoom in so that you can document, oops, the serial number there?
Yes.
And what is that serial number?
Zulu Alpha 04909.
We're going to past you, states exhibit 607 here. Do you recognize state 607?
Yes, I do.
All right, and how is it that you recognize state 607?
This is the firearm that's pictured in those photographs.
Okay, states 425, for example?
Yes.
All right, very good. And is that the actual firearm that you all retrieved from the sport coat in the Lanz's residence?
Yes, it is.
State moves to tender states exhibit 607.
An objection.
Okay.
States exhibit 607 is admitted.
And just to be clear, was there any magazine inserted in that fire?
No, there was not. There was a magazine located in another pocket of the sports coat.
So looking at states 4.
Thank you to Tommy Pope, of course, for joining us tonight.
Coming up in our next hour, don't go anywhere. We get you back inside that courtroom for more of the stranger home invasion murder trial for Matthew Lanz. And we have new developments out of Indiana in the case of a house cleaner who was shot to death after she mistakenly went to the wrong house. Keep it right here to Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Matt Johnson in this afternoon for Michael Ayala. We'll get you back into court in just a moment in Georgia. But first, here are some of the cases that we're tracking right here at Court TV. In Iowa, a guilty verdict in the Metal Pipe Massacre trial for Luke Truesdell. It took a jury nearly 13 hours over 3 days to find him guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count second-degree murder. He now faces life behind bars at his sentencing. In Tennessee, the man accused of killing 4 members of the same family, then kidnapping a little baby, was in court today. Austin Drummond appeared in a bulletproof vest when he pleaded not guilty at his arraignment. And in California, jury selection is underway for the mother accused of killing her 1-year-old son after leaving him in a hot car. Prosecutors claim that Maya Hernandez left the boy inside her hot car while she got lip filler injections at a med spa. Now back to the state of Georgia, where it's day 1 of testimony in the stranger home invasion murder trial. Defendant Matthew Lanz is charged with murder and attempted murder after allegedly going on a crime spree back in 2021. He's accused of shooting and killing Justin and Amber Hicks inside their new home that they had just purchased. Investigators say that he was fixated on the house because it was near his parents' home. And after the murders, prosecutors say that he continued his crime spree by breaking into other houses and stabbing a police officer. During testimony today, the victim's dad broke down in tears as he described finding the bodies. Let's get you back into court now, where a detective with Cobb County Police Department is still on direct examination. And we want to let you know that this witness has opted not to be shown on camera. Let's go back into court.
Sport code.
Yes.
All right, states 428. What are you now kind of pushing out of that sport code pocket?
It's a block magazine.
States 429 is at the bottom of that magazine.
Yes.
All right, states 430. What is being documented in states 430?
So that is a Glock 40 caliber, 40 Smith & Wesson magazine.
Was there any ammunition in this?
No.
Nevertheless, did you all collect it?
Yes, we did.
States 431. What are you documenting in states 431?
So that is the master bedroom closet, and on the floor you can see the gun safe laying down.
States 432 here, did Scott and Teresa Lanz provide you with the key or code?
I don't remember.
No.
Actually provided it, but we did have a key and we were able to open it.
And is that documented in states 433?
Yes.
States 434?
Yes.
States 435?
Yep.
Now, did you all also open this bag?
Yes, we did.
States 436, is that being documented?
It is.
All right, states 438. No, the glare, not bright.
There's 3 handguns in that bag.
And states 439.
Yeah, so there's 2 Glock 40 calibers, an FIE 25 auto, a couple knives, and then what appears to be a suppressor.
Did y'all continue to document each of these items in detail as well as any corresponding ammunition?
Yes, we did.
Now, within this home in particular, did you find any SIG 9mm ammunition?
No, we found a lot of 223, 5.56, some 308, but no 9mm, specifically Sig Sauer branded 9mm.
I'm sorry,
Sig Sauer, S-A-E-U-R.
Would you place the knife in towards you, please? Just face it towards you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Just this time the state moves to tender states
461 into evidence, which is contained within the stipulation number 9 on our stipulation, which I'll go ahead and read at this time. Crime scene technician Malika Moore swabbed the ZEV Technologies OZ9 pistol, serial number ZA04909, found by Scott and Teresa Lanz on November 18, 2021, in defendant Matthew Lanz's Athens residence located at 435 North Church Street, apartment 4, Athens, Georgia 30601, and collected by Cobb County Police on November 19, 2021 from 600 Delphinium Boulevard, Ackworth, Georgia 30102. States Exhibit 461 are the swabs from the pistol, which were then sent to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive Fire Forensic Science Laboratory for testing.
That's all right, Judge, it's hard, what's your thing?
Okay. The court has written in Exhibit 461 on the stipulation number 9, and 461 is admitted. Thank you, Your Honor. And then the last stipulation to read, at least in part at this time, is going to be stipulation 8, statements of Scott and Teresa Lanz captured on Officer R. Jones's body camera contained in States Exhibit 460 is admissible. Defendant Matthew Lanz is waiving his right to confrontation regarding these statements made by Scott and Teresa Lanz's parents. There will also be additional statements that we will fill in the exhibit number when we get to their more formal interview, but I just wanted that to be on the record at this time. So the body camera is 460? Yes, Your Honor. Okay. I believe that's all I have for this witness. All right, it depends if there's anything you need to put on the record or stipulation size is.
Okay, stipulation time.
Okay. All right, so Exhibit 460 is admitted, which is a part of stipulation number 8. All right, you may proceed, Attorney Mary.
Judge, also, let me just put one thing on the record. And we were going to object to State's Exhibit 461 to 485. State looked at that, they agreed that they would take those out, so. Yeah.
So 461 was just admitted as the swabs.
We reused that number.
Oh, okay.
So originally, I think the numbers they had issues with were 460 through 483, which were removed from the large stack. However, given that we never even tried to tell them, we have used at least 2 of those numbers.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
I just wanted to be sure they weren't wrong.
Okay. All right, so 461 as admitted stands. Thank you. You may proceed, Attorney Mary.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Who applied for the search warrant of the Lanz home, do you know?
I believe I did.
You did? Okay. And was that based solely on the home invasion in Sandy Springs?
It was based on basically all the investigations so far, the information I've gotten from the other detectives. I would have to go back and read the probable cause statement to be exactly sure what probable cause is based on.
Okay. And I know we started the body cam video at 16:05. Do you recall what was on the video prior to 16:05?
So Officer Jones is attached to our Viper unit, and when SWAT hits a warrant, Viper usually holds the perimeter. So initially it would have been him on perimeter, and then there was some conversation with myself and the Lanzes, which I explained earlier, telling them that the neighbors had been murdered. They advised that they were aware. Teresa had asked for a code because it was cold out, so I offered her to sit back in one of the detectives' cars. And then after I had explained that Matthew was involved in something in Springs, but the detectives wanted to talk to him further about it and kind of explain everything that was going on. She had gotten quite upset, so we were able to get her into a vehicle, and that's pretty much when the video picks up when I'm talking with
Stockman, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Were they cooperating with you, the Lanz?
Yes,
Were
very
there
much.
any objection to you searching their house?
No, sir.
Okay. And you indicated that you did not find any bullets there at the home.
So I did find bullets.
Not any bullets that would match the gun.
Correct. I did not find any Sig Sauer branded 9mm.
Okay. None in the magazine.
Correct.
And none in the home.
Correct.
Okay. Did anyone get a search warrant for his apartment in Athens?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and were you involved in that?
I was. I went and searched his apartment with other detectives, yes.
Okay. And did you find anything in his apartment in Athens of value?
Yes, but I don't recall what for.
Okay.
I didn't study for that portion of the state. I believe Detective Standard took that search warrant, so he would be better able to,
He would be the better one to ask.
yes.
If you didn't document or you don't recall.
I was just there along for the actual search.
Okay. How many projectiles does this weapon hold?
So that depends on the magazine. The Zev Technologies pistol, I refer to them as like a Gucci cloth, or they're basically a cloth. They just have a lot of really good parts in them, and so it depends on what magazine. It is a full size, so it has to be a 17 round mag or more.
Okay.
It wouldn't hold like a compact 15 round mag or subcompact 12 round mag.
And the magazine that you found there in the pocket of the coat, do you recall how many projectiles that would hold?
I know it was for a 40 cal. Not to say that wouldn't work in a 9mm, but it would be much less reliable.
Did you do anything else in relation to this case other than the two searches, one at the Lanz home and one at
I
Athens?
responded to the initial scene, and I canvassed the neighborhood, talking with some neighbors.
All right. And did you collect anything yourself when you initially came? I guess it was on the 18th.
From which location?
From the, when you went initially on the 18th.
Okay. No, I spoke with the neighbors, asked if anybody had like ring doorbell or any surveillance cameras, and then gave them a way to provide that to us. And then I assisted with the search of the Hicks' residence.
Okay. When you talked to the Lanz, they indicated to you that Matthew did not come home the night that they thought he was going to. Is that right?
Yes, Scott had said that when he spoke with Matthew that he's coming home to do some studying or some schoolwork, and that he didn't believe that he had come home.
Okay. Do you recall, and this was about this time of year in November, do you recall what the weather was like then, with the cold?
The night we were when I was speaking with the Lanz, it was chilly. I mean, I was wearing a coat.
And how about the 17th and 18th, with both of those days? Were they cold?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't really recall.
Okay. I think that's all I have for you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
He's going to be followed or redirect.
All right, we do need to take a break. That's going to do it for that particular witness. Coming up, more testimony in the stranger home invasion murder trial playing out there in the state of Georgia. Up next, the medical examiner takes the stand. This is Court TV Live.
Tonight, on closing arguments, a housekeeper and mother of 4 killed while trying to enter the wrong house. But will the shooter face charges? we're live with the latest developments.
Closing arguments tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
Sunday nights on Court TV. Join us for a night of food, friends, and our favorite legal dramas. It's Order in the Court, and this week we're binge watching Bull. Sundays on Court TV/TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Let's get you back to court now for more testimony in the stranger home invasion murder trial playing out for Matthew Lanz. It's a bench trial, remember, no jury. On the stand right now, the medical examiner.
What was the date of these two autopsies?
Both autopsies were performed on November 19th, 2021.
I want to start with the decedent, Timothy Justin Hicks. What was his age?
He was 31 years old.
Now, was he deceased on scene?
He was.
And whenever someone is deceased on scene, does one of your medical examiner investigators actually go out to the scene?
Yes.
All right, and are photographs taken?
Yes.
And did that happen in this case?
Yes.
And then do you also review crime scene photos that are taken by Cobb County police officers?
In some cases, yes.
And were you able to do that here?
Yes.
And then were there photos taken during Timothy Justin Hicks' autopsy?
Yes.
Were you able to review those?
Yes.
Were you also able to review radiology slides of his body?
Yes.
And did that also help you in determining path of travel of projectiles, for example?
Yes.
Now, with respect to radiology slides as well as photos taken during these autopsy processes, is that normal for every single autopsy, whether or not it's a suspected homicide?
Yes.
Okay. And then are those records maintained in the normal course of business for your office?
Yes.
Now, along those lines, I do want to go ahead and read a few of these stipulations, Your Honor. First will be stipulation 1, states exhibits 528 through 567 are true and accurate photographs of decedent Amber Hicks, her clothing, and a projectile recovered from her body taken during her autopsy. States exhibit 598 is the projectile recovered from Amber Hicks's posterior neck during her autopsy. States exhibits 569 through 596 are true and accurate photographs of decedent Timothy Justin Hicks and the 2 projectiles recovered from his body taken during his autopsy. And states exhibit 599 are the projectiles recovered from Timothy Justin Hicks' head and chest during his autopsy.
As to stipulations 1, 2, 3, and 4.
That's correct, Judge, and once we fill in those numbers that weren't filled in initially, I'll fix it.
As to States Exhibit 528 to 567, those were admitted. States Exhibit 598 is admitted. States Exhibits 569 to 596 are admitted, and States Exhibit 599 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. So again, I want to stick with Timothy Justin Hicks for now. And admittedly, are some of these photographs kind of difficult for individuals to see if they're not accustomed to this type of work?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. We can switch it.
There's a screen that you can hold towards there.
All right, States Exhibit 569 here. What is being documented on States 569?
Could you repeat the question?
What's being documented? What information do you include here on the body bag?
This is a photograph of the body bag. It includes the Cobb County case number, the decedent's name, and the seal number of the body bag.
And do we continue to see your Cobb County medical examiner case number on all of the photographs?
Yes.
All right, States Exhibit 570 here. What is the purpose of the documentation?
This is a photograph of the seal intact, along with the case number.
Now, is it customary for the decedent to be documented exactly as received?
Yes.
All right, State's Exhibit 571 here, is that what we're looking at?
Yes. This is the body as it's received. The clothing is still intact and it has not been cleaned up yet.
States 572, do you typically photograph all the way down their body?
Yes. We usually take 3 photographs.
So States 572, is that kind of the second photograph that's normally taken?
Yes.
And then States 573, is that the third photograph showing the lower half of the body?
Yes.
How many injuries were documented on, and I'm going to refer to him as Justin Hicks, so on Justin's body?
He had 3 entrance gunshot wounds.
States Exhibit 574 here, what are we looking at in States 574?
This is what we call an identification photograph, basically a photo of the decedent's face with the case number and all the blood and other materials are removed.
And then do you again take photos of kind of the top portion, middle portion, and lower portion of the decedent's body after they've been cleaned?
Yes.
All right, States Exhibit 575 here. Is that the top portion of his body?
Yes.
All right, States 576, are we mid-range?
Yes.
And States 577, is that the lower portion of his body?
Yes.
Right. And you already mentioned that there were 3 visible entry wounds on his body. In order.
All right, we're going to hit the pause button there. Let's bring in my guest for this hour, attorney and former prosecutor Randolph Rice. Nice to see you. What are your initial thoughts on this bench trial? We have this defendant there not in street clothes because there is no jury. He's keeping his head down through the whole time. The first witness on the stand was one of the victim's fathers, discovered the body. And then it's been quite procedural with investigators, police, and now the medical examiner. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Matt, good evening. And I think you're right. You hit the nail on the head with the word procedural. And that's kind of how these bench trials are. The defense in this case is really just playing for fumbles, hoping that the state just forgets to introduce some major piece of evidence, which they won't do. And they'll be able to go through the evidence a little more logical and not having to put on a show like they normally would have to do if they had a jury. So they're doing what they have to do to get this conviction.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next was how do you try the case differently? Because it still appears that they're trying to storytell a little bit and show the humanity and the lives that are lost. These victims suffered multiple gunshots.
Well, there's a lot less pressure when you don't have a jury in that box. So you're a little more relaxed as a prosecutor, and you're really just sort of doing a data download to the judge. Judge, here are the different pieces of evidence. They've gotten to stipulate to a number of pieces of evidence, which helps move that trial along. But again, this is just playing for fumbles for the defense right now. They're just hoping the state forgets something.
Yeah, and you know, it took a while to get this case to trial. He wasn't found competent for something like 9 or 10 months. Randolph Rice, thank you. You're going to be sticking with us all hour long.